Hey everyone, it's Friday, which means it's time to deploy. We are back from France. We are now back in Australia, and we're doing it live as we are wanting to do. We want to do much more of this live. We'd love to get you, the fans, the audience involved in some of these live streams. Anyways, we are back in Australia, back for another edition of Deploy on Friday. We've got lots of great stuff coming up this week. We've got a new AI Pulse report. We've got new innovations around Octopus. Specifically, we've got NPM integration, which is fantastic. We also have some new videos that we'd like to share. But first, let's get into how the week was for both Matt and Charlotte. Matt, how was your week?
It was very good. I'm very happy that this show's called Deploy on Friday because now I know what day it is because this week's just been a bit of a mess after getting back
Okay.
from 30 odd hours of travel, as it is to get to anywhere from Australia or back to Australia.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I'm back in the routine. As we'll see, I've got Inside Platform Engineering, a new episode of that's just dropped, and I'm deep in the weeds on a bunch of stuff here. Really cool stuff as well. So there'll be lots to share over the coming weeks as well.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I actually just got back last night because I took a few days of leave from the revenue kickoff, and yeah, I'm 30 hours of travel. I'm also a bit tired. And just, going through Slack today, getting on top of things, planning next week. So yeah, it's full on, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, like they say, no rest for the wicked. We were, you may have seen our last episode where we were in Nice, which was awesome. We all got together there for our revenue kickoff, and now we're back home. As Matt and Charlotte indicated, it took us a while to get home. I think I was in transit for about 34 hours myself. So yeah, the world's a big place. So there you go. It takes a while for us to get around. So, anyways, without any further ado, let's get right into some of the latest news. We've had a lot of stuff happen over the last few days. And Charlotte, this was something I know that you were definitely keen on. The AI Pulse report is now available, and this is the blog post that you wrote talking about this. So congratulations. Round of applause for Charlotte for getting yet another report out the door. So tell us a little bit about this.
So yeah, the Pulse report was released this week, which is really exciting. And essentially this is the blog that came with it. So it goes, it goes over what is in the report, what the key findings are, kind of the key sections, and I guess a little bit of recommendations here and there throughout the report. But the findings are really cool. It's a mixture of using, I guess, literature, so industry data from Stack Overflow and a bunch of other places. And then we've also collated some of our own surveys as well. And so we've got data from that. So it's a mixture of all the things. Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. It's longer than I expected. There was so much to write about, as AI is such a big topic. There's always,
Yep.
You could always do more. There's so many different avenues. So, yeah, it's very long. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. It's it's a big one. Yeah, really excited. It's start.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, and this is probably like asking you to pick a favorite child sort of thing. But was there one if you could pick one finding that came out of it, is there anything that jumps out as you that was like surprising to you, or just not what you expected, or maybe one that was like, yep, I expected that, and that's what the data shows? Is there anything that jumps out?
Yes. So there was a few findings, and it came from our survey that me and Steve actually wrote together, and it was based on the roles that are perceived to be negatively impacted by AI in the future. And
Okay.
that could mean a variety of things, a variety of ways. It could be AI replacing the jobs. It could be it could be so many things. But some of the roles were like analysts, lots of business analysts and data analysts, and then developers and DevOps people, which is interesting. And then I reckon the most interesting finding from the whole report is that the roles who were, I guess, self-aware or voted from themselves as being a bit self-concerned were developers, and it was only developers and DevOps that showed that level of awareness. And it could be that they are working way more closely with the technology, so they know its capabilities. yeah, it's that one. I think that one was really interesting, and that one was from our own surveys, so it was really, really good. Yeah, really, really interesting insight, and it could change. It could mean a variety of things, but that's what I guess the perspective is currently. Yeah, yeah, that was a good one.
Awesome. Yeah, so the Pulse report, as Charlotte was alluding to, is now available. You can download it now, and you can find it up on our website, which is at octopus.com/publications. If you go there, you'll find links to all kinds of reports, including this one here. And so you can go ahead and register for this and get a sense of all the findings that we had from the survey that we conducted and gain more insight around how AI may affect you and your organization going forward. It's not meant to freak anyone out or scare anyone. It's meant to inform. So that's what that's what we're here for, to inform.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yes, it's the
It's to
AI Pulse
inform.
report, not the shock report. So
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And like I think that these things actually can change quite a bit. But this is the current sort of perspective of the industry. Yeah, really interesting stuff. I really like it.
Does that
Great.
also, is that a little Easter egg teaser there? I won't hold you to this, but with things changing so much in this space, this sounds like it might be a sort of dynamic report that's going to be updated every so often as we move forward in time and the field does change. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I would hope so. I think that AI is just advancing so rapidly, and we are just, integrating it more and more. Its capabilities are, we don't know its capabilities. We currently have an understanding of how we are implementing it, and that's great. But it will have, we're going to be using it more and more for different things, and we're all just trying to figure it out. And so, I think that having a year-over-year report on AI and how it's being used is going to be really interesting to see how it changes. So yes, I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
You heard it here first. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but well, I'm cooking a roast pork tonight for tea that my wife bought today, and I had to, like, it's got the cooking instructions and stuff based on the the weight of it and stuff like that. And I was standing there looking at it, and it's been a long week, lots of travel. I just took a photo and I dropped it into AI and I said, "Can you tell me when I need to put this on for it to be ready at 6 p.m., please?" And I'm like, and then I self-reflected. I'm like, Matt, you can do a bit of maths. It's okay. You don't need to outsource everything. So, but it did actually get it right, and I did double check its work to make sure that the meat will be ready when the veggies are ready as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is very clever, and I mean, just if it saves a little bit of mental space, it's very helpful. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, there's probably bigger problems it can solve than when I should put my roast pork on. But hey, that was my main use case for it today. So
I used it to pack my bag. So yeah,
there you go.
It's not any better. So yeah.
Moving right along, this is I'm trying to cut off the obviously the dialogue there, so sorry about that. Moving right along, we've got this article, Developer Productivity in the Age of AI, Why Your Past Predicts Your Future. And basically it kind of highlights some of the things that obviously we're talking about here relative to developer productivity. It's interesting, like a lot of developers are concerned about their roles at companies, etc. I see AI as yet another tool to getting your job done more effectively. And so the idea here is that you want to look at this as exactly that is that you don't want to look at it as a replacement, but rather a complementary technology. People viewed the automobile, folks who are riding horses viewed the automobile with a lot of skepticism and concern, but they quickly found out that they were able to be a lot more productive going forward. I think the same can be said about AI. You're going to be managing your workloads that are being done within AI. You still have to have a lot of knowledge and insight into how software is built and how well-constructed software is built. And so this article goes into some of those things and kind of dispels some of the myths here, and talks a little bit about some of the nuances around AI investment that we're not really sure about yet. So we go into deep detail about this, and it meant to complement a lot of the thinking of going around AI. So if you want to read this one, it's available up on our blog as well. And all of these you can find up at our blog. Please make sure that you subscribe to our blog. It's at octopus.com/blog. There you can find tons of articles from various folks within our company, and we share a lot of insights there going forward. Matt, you've got a video here. This is a new episode of Inside Platform Engineering. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, this one is hot off the press. I finally uploaded it just a couple of hours ago. So, yeah, I had a great conversation here with Peter, who takes us through the thinking of modern platforms and thinking in a autonomous way rather than using some of the tools that maybe we're pretty familiar with over the last 5 or 10 years. And he's very forward-looking and looking at lots of different frameworks that are out there, especially from some of the larger vendors like AWS and Cisco and Microsoft and all of those big-name vendors who are putting out frameworks for platforms building typically on top of Kubernetes, on top of Kubernetes, and moving away from some of the, I won't say legacy tools, but maybe the heritage tools that we've used for the last decade or so to build infrastructure, and just why some of these newer ways are going to be more helpful moving forward from a platform engineering perspective. So yeah, I think he had some really cool ideas, and a bunch of resources are in the show notes for those people that are interested to go and explore some of these different patterns and frameworks as well. So yeah, this is why I love talking to folks just out in the industry, because you get people from all walks of different life. And yeah, this was eye-opening for me, and I learned a few things along the way as well, as I do with every episode. So
I'm still suffering from jet lag, which means I haven't had the time to watch this yet. But did he talk a little bit about Microsoft Aspire, the framework that Microsoft talks quite a bit about in terms of building out a platform? Did he talk about that at all?
That's a good question. I'm not sure that we got into Aspire, but I think it was actually linked in his resources that he wanted me to put in the show notes, which I did. Okay. So he called out a couple specifically. So and Peter is from I'm getting this wrong now. I think he's from Warsaw. So he's heavily looking at the European market, and so he had a few local European ones that he called out specifically that we used for the examples. There was Canoe and Apiro were a couple of the main ones that we spoke about, but he did send through 5 or 6 different frameworks, and I feel like Aspire was maybe in that list from Microsoft. Yep.
Well, you'll find this and other videos up on our YouTube channel. Remember to like and subscribe, as the kids say. There's various things that you can check out there. There's Matt's latest video. We mentioned this last week, and we'll just mention it again. I do have a video here on the recovery agent, which you can check out as well. There's our episode of Deploy on Friday from these, where we walk on the beach. So these and other videos you can find up on our YouTube channel. So go to /OctopusDeploy on YouTube if you want to find out more, and feel free to subscribe. We would love to send you more video content. The more subscribers we get, the more motivation we have to produce more videos and get that sort of virtuous cycle happening. So make sure to do that. So we have another video here. This is actually an episode of Eat Sleep Code that I co-host with Ed. We're well past 100. I think we're up to 200 episodes now. We had Guy Rouse on the show. He is from Redis, and he was talking to Ed and I about various things that he's done around AI. We talked a little bit about the game that he had published. This is for agents and arbiters. This is an adventure game that he'd published based on the old 80s game called Zork. I know you two are, Matt and Charlotte, you two are way too young to remember this, but I remember this. Maybe you know about Zork, but it was a text-based adventure game, and so he built an AI multi-agent adventure game based on Zork using this, and he talks a little bit about the agent flow. So you can check this out. This is the latest episode of Eat Sleep Code, which is up on YouTube. You can check out there.
Awesome.
I think I interrupted you. You were telling me that you do know Zork.
You are right. I am too young to have played it, but I am aware of the game and have seen it before, but I haven't actually played it. Yeah.
Charlotte, have you heard of Zork?
I'm aware of the game. Only, I think, through a movie reference, though. So, yeah, less from this.
So for those who are just keeping track at home, Zork came out in the 70s/80s. I remember it being on the store shelves. Yes, you would have to go into a store to buy video games back in the day. They had it laid out like a. This is even going to date myself. When you used to rent videotapes, you used to rent VHS. Yeah. Just keep digging, John. Here we go. So when you used to rent movies, not on Netflix, but you'd go to a store like Blockbuster and you'd pick up the video cassettes. You would go and they would have these lines of rentals that you could pick up. The same thing goes for computer games. You'd go into a computer game store and they'd have all these titles and you could just go and buy them. I remember seeing Zork very, very a lot of times, but I was more into Ultima and all that sort of stuff. But anyways, this is the series here, and it was a text-based computer game, and basically you go step by step through it. It was kind of like a digital version of D&D, and so you can go through it and do some fun adventures. And yes, I played D&D as well. Yes, I was not the popular shiny kid you see today. It was I was very much very Zork is kind of reminiscent of Dork, which is kind of what I was when I was a kid. So anyways, that's why I played it. Anyways, moving right along. We won't get into that.
Had you quizzed me on that, I would have said it was from the 80s, not the 70s. So there you go. I think that's even more impressive that it's technology back then was obviously a lot different to what we see now. So that's kind of cool.
We couldn't really push. There was no graphics cards to push. We just had the CPU. That was it. GPUs, forget it. That was all we were doing. So anyways, this is a show about Octopus, so let's talk about Octopus. This is a new feature we have in the MCP. So for those who are utilizing our MCP, we actually have 2 write operations now. This is for create release and deploy release, which you can now run as part of the MCP. So if you utilize something like Cursor, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'll go ahead and show it anyway. Let me fire up Cursor here and see if I can get this quickly up and running to show you. So here I have Cursor. I'll just open up an old project that I have here, voxelize, etc. If I take a look here, I can go into my settings and let's take a look at our settings. Where are we here? I want to go into Cursor settings. Thank you. And then if I go into, let me close this one down, move this over. I can see I have my textual output here running, but if I have my MCP here, you can see the tools that we have enabled. You can see that now here at the bottom, we have create release and deploy release. So that's, I'm trying to make it easier to see. Never mind. So you can see there, create release and deploy release. So these are new operations that you can now run as part of the MCP. And this is the PR that talks about this. So Igor went and committed this, and it's now available in the latest version of MCP. In order to get this update, all you have to do is just do a refresh of your agent host, whatever that may be, whether it's Cursor, Claude, VS Code, etc., via Copilot, whatever it is. And then you have to specify this flag, -- no read only. So what this will allow you to do is enable those tools so you'll be able to actually perform write operations against Octopus Deploy. So this basically means is that if you haven't been using our MCP, that's fine. Our MCP allows you to perform operations like list deployments, etc. In fact, let me go ahead and fire up Cursor again. I'll show you what this actually looks like. Again, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. So you can see here I have a chat instance here that's running. I can see all the operations. So what operations can I perform? ? And I guess I have to log in. Sorry about this. Let me log in on a separate window. I have some other links there. Sorry, what's that?
We're doing it live.
That's right. We're doing it live, so that's okay. I'm just going to live. So I can see I performed a bunch of operations here in context, and these were available to me for. I can see I can do a variety of operations. I've done these against my instance here, which is Octopus. But yeah, we won't worry about that right now. So anyways, you can perform those operations now against this, and this is the PR that talks about it. So check it out. You can download it from our MCP server. Here's our repo for it. You can see got version 1.1 now available. You can check it out here and read more about it up on our GitHub page. So check it out. It also is listed in a variety of MCP registries as well. Yep. So if you can't find it, go check out one of the MCP registries. We have registered it everywhere. Mm-hmm. All right, this one is actually kind of hyper cool. I like it a lot. It came out hot off the press. We'll be talking about this in an upcoming webinar, but we now have support for NPM repos. So NPM repos can now be configured as external feeds inside of Octopus Deploy. This is going to be supported in the next release of Octopus, which is 2026.1. If you're running cloud, I believe we've enabled this now, but if you're running one of the alpha builds, etc., you can now turn this on. NPM feeds now available. So the way you set this up, we have the docs here. You can see how we set this up. It's like any other feed you would have inside of Octopus. But it's just basically providing a means of getting NPM packages, and this allows you to consume those packages from as part of any type of deployment process, and you can utilize those either publicly or privately, either it's from npm.js or your private NPM registries, and you can utilize it just like any other external feed inside of Octopus. So there you go, NPM support inside of Octopus. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, awesome feature. Happy to see it come along. I'd seen some... when I joined, I was doing some digging around. I can't remember what for, but I remember this being a sort of spoken about feature when I joined last year, and it's obviously been requested here and there. So yeah, it's cool to see this one come into the product as a supported external feed, because I know a lot of our customers like being able to put their packages and containers and whatever else where they want to. There are great hosting options out there, and then we can just sort of bolt that into Octopus rather than trying to get it into Octopus, directly or another way. So cool integration.
Yeah. We have a new Octonaut to talk about, which is Jed. Jed's been at the company for a long time, but with this new article that we have featuring him, Meet the Octonaut is an ongoing series we have up at the company website. So if you go to octopus.com/company, you'll see our Meet the Octonaut section, and we featured Jed. Jed is looking rather stoic here in some mountains, I'm guessing either in North America or Europe. And Jed's one of our design wonks gurus at Octopus. He does a lot of work around product design, etc. And he joined us a long time ago. He's been working on reimagining the onboarding experience. I remember this distinctly, actually. I remember when I went into Octopus, and I remember I had the first onboarding experience. For a long time, it was just the dashboard and a variety of windows. And then Jed and others came along and said, you know what, we can have a better first run experience and a better onboarding experience. And I remember seeing it for the time. I was like, yes, this is awesome. So that was one of his favorite projects that he listed here. Anyways, if you're going to read more about Jet, you can go ahead and check it out up on our Meet the Octopus page, which is fantastic. Did you guys get presents for your loved ones for Valentine's Day as we left France? I remember reminding everyone that Valentine's Day was when we were overseas, but you should bring something home. Well, if you didn't happen to, don't worry. We actually have a Valentine's Day greeting you can use if you're so inclined on the Octopus side. So you auto-complete me, crazy for deployments, deploy with care. I of course had to come in there and said, you occupy my heart. These are some roses are red, deployments are automatic.
While we're talking and see if my wife likes this one. Yeah, I'll send that to the printer. Yeah, we'll see.
Perfect. Go straight to the pool room, as they say. So anyways, we like to do these sort of things. So our love language is declarative, automated, and always in sync. So happy Valentine's Day from Octopus Deploy. So a lot of good stuff there. And then to wrap things up, just on the news side, we have a new edition of Argo Unpacked coming up tomorrow. In fact, actually, we've got Christian who's going to be talking about Argo Project Labs. This is going to be episode 22, and this will be hosted live, so you can jump on the live stream if you want. We mentioned this last week. But if you're curious about what is going on the Argo side of things, there's actually this project called Argo Project Labs. We mentioned this last week that you can go check out. And if you're at all interested, and it's up on GitHub, and I'm just bringing it up here on a side window here. There you go. So if you want to check this out here, you can go check it out. And Christian will be talking to Revital and Dan about this. And this is all the stuff that isn't in an official channel, but is being actively worked on. Things like GitOps Promoter, redefining the multi-cluster story of Argo CD with the Argo CD agent, for example, and other things as well. So go ahead and check that out if you're so inclined.
And this is why I love Argo Unpacked, because I'm not deep into that space, and our team are they are literally the experts on Argo CD, and I learn so much every week. And I had no idea this existed until this episode of Argo Unpacked actually started getting promoted. And I was like, well, what's that? That's kind of cool. And as you said, it's all these side projects, and I find those are sometimes the really cool things that are sitting sort of beside or behind a main project, because that's where a lot of the next innovations happen. So you can kind of see these side projects happen before they might make it into, being officially supported by the project or something like that. So there's always a lot of goodies in there that I find. So I'm actually pretty excited to listen to this episode. Yeah, as I am with all of them, of course. So,
fantastic stuff. That's right. All right, now let's go ahead and get into Support on Friday. All right, this one was interesting for me for a number of reasons. This is Support on Friday is a segment where we basically go through our support or / advice channel up on our Slack, and we pick out a question that we find interesting and we kind of discuss it. So here's a question from Alex that reads, "Hey guys, I see that the Octopus CLI isn't intended to be a drop-in replacement for Octo, but I get that this isn't intended, but is there no feature equivalent to Octo create release -- packages folders and then a path to the packages? I guess I might be able to specify each individual package to the current build version, but that's a step down from the old way." And so basically what Alex is asking here is, typically what I would do is I would use this in the context of something like Team City or some CI process. and then I would just point to a folder that I want to list all my, that is basically the output folder from my CI process, that all these packages will get picked up along with their versions and then used as part of a release creation process. And unfortunately, that's not something, and the reason why I know this is because I worked on the team. I was one of the, I was the, basically the product manager for the new CLI that we spec'd out. And we didn't actually build this out because it was one of those edge cases that we thought, well, you can specify each individual package and you can automate that and script it. So it's not really a necessity. But Alex went on to go and say the reasons why this would be necessary in terms of that. And so, Sean, to his credit, came in here and said, you can specify each individual package along with their versions. But, if that's something that, you're inclined to do, feel free to do so. Alex then goes on to say, well, not from the CLI directly. I'm using the Jenkins plugin, which wraps the CLI, which is true. My attempt just now using the crate release, but I get an error. Latest is not a valid version, etc. So I would say I would pin that on the plugin, the Jenkins plugin, seeing that version latest is not a valid version string. So we require a tuple there, which is denoted by major, minor, build, etc. So unfortunately, that's a limitation, but I do believe you can do this using the mechanism that Sean articulates here, which is each individual package. And we did that by necessity, because we realized that this packages folder thing was kind of like just a shorthand mechanism of specifying each individual package, and so we just kept it as a -- package mechanism. But I suspect that there's something going on with the Jenkins plugin we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting use case. Yeah, like you said, I wonder if, it's one of those things, right, when you're designing a tool, it's like how many people, you're trying to figure out how many people are using this. Is it useful? Could they do this in wrap it in a script that's just doing a loop or something instead? So that's one of those things. Now, I should know the answer to this, and I don't, so I'm going to ask you because you will know the answer. Is the Octopus CLI publicly out there on a repo, like people can go and make contributions to it?
Absolutely. Let me bring it up on us. This is me tap dancing as I bring up the URL. We actually, yes, you can. So this is Wax CLI. This is up on GitHub, and it's in Go. So if you're not familiar with Go, this would be a great way for you. I even designed the logo. This is this beautiful artisanal logo that you see here was designed lovingly by me inside of paint.net. I'm kidding, of course, but no, I did this logo, and it's built in Go, and you can go ahead and check it out. It's not too hard to actually grok, actually, if you take a look at how this works. And it may be, so if you feel like this is an issue, go ahead and submit it and let us know if this is something that you would like to see. It looks like there are some /package issues coming in here, so we'll have to take a look at those, of course. But yeah, the CLI is publicly available, and this is underpinned by our Go client as well, which you can check out at / Again, this is me tap dancing. Go-Octopus Deploy. This is our API client, and yes, this was a design we came up for. You have to use the Go Gopher, of course. If you can do any library in Go, you gotta make fun of the Gopher. So that's what everyone does, and that's what we did, of course. I thought it looks great. And anyways, this is our API client in Go, and we use this inside the CLI. We also use this Go client for the Terraform provider as well. So it's kind of all layer caked up. So there you go.
Yeah, nice.
So great.
Yeah.
Thanks for leading me on there, Matt. I appreciate the question. That's great.
Yeah. I actually have surprised myself because the issues, of course, are there on the repositories. So that's probably a great place to log some of these feature requests or enhancement because they can get lost in things like Slack. It's obviously great that Alex has come along to the advice channel here and spoken to Sean about it, but. Don't forget about putting the issues on the repo for the relevant tool, and that just means it gets tracked by the relevant team and is visible and doesn't get lost in the ether of Slack messages that I'm sure we're all familiar with. So
that's right. Anyways, if you want to join us on the Slack channel. You can via the community page. So if you're at all curious, you can visit that at /community, which is here. And there you can find a link to join the Slack channel, and you can pose your questions to the advice channel if you want. We got folks that hang out there all the time, and Alex obviously posed a question there, so you can go check it out if you'd like. And we just cover these as part of Deployment Friday every week, so there you go. Anyways, we are back from France, and we are still jet lagged, at least I am. And congratulations, Charlotte, on the AI Pulse report. I know that a lot of us contributed to it, but you are the main driving factor for it. So congratulations on the report.
Thank you. Thanks. And yeah, John is a contributor too. Yeah, just glad it's done. Glad it's out there.
Yes.
Keen to,
Well,
keen
that's
to
yeah. Now we got to rev it. Now we got to iterate on it and
Yes,
keep it up to date, right?
absolutely.
So, given the pace of AI, we may have to actually do it like almost on a quarterly or even weekly basis at this point. We mentioned Ralph Wiggum as a technique, and that's already outdated. And Claude has integrated that technique. It's got swarms now inside of Claude Code, etc. Like the second the report comes out, it's already out of date because AI is moving so quickly. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things like what MCP is just over 12 months old now, if I'm right, like as a protocol. So, it's, had the report been from a year ago, I probably wouldn't, have touched on anything related to that at all. And I'm sure, 6-12 months from now, it's going to look a lot different as well. So
skills are so December 2025. I mean, we're on to whatever the next replacement is.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
All right. Anyways, well, it's good to be back home. Thanks for joining us on the live stream. We do this every week, and we're gonna more gravitate towards doing live streams. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let it go ahead and feel to contribute those in the chat during our next live version of this. Until next time, we will see you on the next edition of Deploy on Friday. Happy deployments, everyone. Take care.